Back with cooking our pot roast. And right now, as I said, I need both sides to be browned, and they are. So at this point, what we do is we're going to take it out of the cast iron pot. It's got a coating, a nice coating on it. Okay, it's not going to be perfect, but I want a little brown on there, and we want it still to be a little rare. So I place this on top of the potatoes and the onions that I put in the pot. And I use a small pot. I like for stuff to get cooked really well in there. So having it close together, I found it keeps it tender, it keeps the juices in there. So I've taken that out of there. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my gravy and milk water mixture, which is going to get all these bits up from here as well. And we're going to pour that over here. So let's go to where that is. Now I like to add cream of mushroom soup. And I put that in a container with a little bit of water. And then I'll take the rest of the cream of mushroom soup and I'm going to pour it in my container that contains the beef gravy, which is right here. The beef gravy. And so we just pour that in until it gets to the point of, I could eyeball it. So I probably would say maybe that is about a half a cup of water right there. Of milk. And just want to stir that. Stir it with the same spoon. They're both going over the roast. So we've got the packet of brown gravy or beef gravy powder. We put that in along with 1/4 of a cup of milk, and we put the cream of mushroom soup in with just about 2 tablespoons of milk just to loosen that up. And then what I do is I take that cream of mushroom soup and we're going to put that in here. So just pour that all in. And I want to turn down the heat because at this point we're just stirring to get the consistency of the gravy in there. We'll put the cream of mushroom soup in. We want to get the brown gravy mixture in. And we want to make sure we stir that really well. We want a better spoon than that. So I'm stirring it, and we're going to make sure that all the brown bits come up as well. Just try to get it from the side and pull that in along with those potatoes. And get that just, kind of stirred around because this is going to go over the beef roast. So now that the roast is in the pan, I'm going to take the cast iron pot here, and we're going to pour that gravy mixture right on the roast. Just cover the roast with that gravy mixture. That is delicious. And we want to make sure that that covers it completely. So we'll use a small spoon for that. Cover the roast. And that's it. We have the mushroom or beef gravy mix with milk. And we also have the cream of mushroom soup and with some milk. So I put the top on that, and it is good to go into the oven. So at this point, you're going to see some stuff that's probably not clean yet because I'm cooking. When you cook, you're going to have stuff that's not completely clean. So once we're finished, that's when you do that. Now we put this in the oven, and we want to make sure the top is on there. Leave it in there for a good, I'd say about an hour and 30 minutes is a good cook time. because I like my roast to be medium rare. Okay, so that'll start cooking, and an hour and 30 minutes it'll be done. Now on to the mac and cheese. As I said before, I didn't have much time, so what I do is I'll use the Kraft macaroni and cheese to go ahead and make my dinner tonight. And Kraft macaroni and cheese, I keep the water in there, I try to. Might have poured out just a little bit of it. And I've also added a little bit more elbow macaroni because I have a big family. So we added elbow macaroni. We also want to take this and we want to pour it in a greased casserole because I'm going to add a little something more to this Kraft macaroni and cheese. I need to get the rest of that out. This mac and cheese with the sauce packet is not enough for me tonight, but I do use it, and I just add that, and then I want to add some seasoning salt. I like seasoning salt. Add that all over. I also want to add some pepper, some black pepper. Love black pepper in my mac and cheese. I also want to add at least 4 tablespoons of margarine, or you can add 4 tablespoons of butter. Butter, of course, I like better. And we want to stir that into the hot macaroni first, after you put your little bit of seasonings in there. I use seasoned salt because it's got a mixture of seasonings in there, including paprika, which gives it that taste, that spicy, smoky taste. So we want to stir the margarine and the butter in to get the macaroni loosened as well. We don't want dry macaroni. Okay, after that, I also like to add in some sour cream. I take about 2 heaping tablespoons of sour cream and just throw that right in there, and again we're going to incorporate that into the mac and cheese. Okay. And then we're going to have at least about a half a cup of milk all around as well. And that's looking good and creamy already. Okay. And then I need to go ahead and put that seasoning packet in. So I put that in, but then I also add my Colby Jack cheese. I'd like to add at least a cup of Colby Jack cheese. Colby Jack cheese is one of my favorite cheeses. Add that in. I'm going to stir that with that powdered cheese. And if you need more milk, you can always add more milk. This is enough milk for me, because the sour cream is good as well, so you don't really need too much milk. Some people like it a little, watery or milky, creamy. Too much, you can be, watery, like, or too much. Okay, so then I like to also add another special ingredient, and this also has, of course, water in it. I leave the water in it, the whole kernel corn, the sweetened whole kernel corn, because it has a sweet flavor to it. This could be a meal in itself, but I like it as a side dish of a sweet vegetable and protein dish added to the beef. And just stir the corn, incorporate all of that in there as well. You don't need any sugar or anything when you're using the sweet corn. It gives it a flavor of its own. Along with that cheese when it's melted, it's a great side dish, or as a whole dish itself if you don't want meat. You can add meat to this as well to make it a whole dish. Chicken, tuna, I've done that before. Ground beef. Okay, 1 cup of cheese is good for the mixture, but on top we need at least another half a cup of Monterey Jack cheese. Macaroni and cheese has to have a lot of cheese to me, or at least enough that you can taste it, not just the powdered cheese. So add about half a cup more on top of that mixture. And then I like to add another ingredient of breadcrumbs. Panko breadcrumbs are great. I usually spread that on top. And then we want to dollop that with some more butter. I just do just 2 tablespoons right across the top. And we want to put that inside of a oven. We can put it in the same oven. And we want to make sure that we take this out, though, within 30 minutes. So I stick that in there, let that cook along with my beef, and we'll be back once this meal is done.